कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले इति नामिने
सरस्वती देवे
गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे प्रभो नित्यानंद गौर भक्तवृंद
Hare Krishna,
कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
राम राम हरे हरे
Hare Hare Namaha,
यादवाय नमः
Hare
श्रीमधुसूदन पंगुम लंगायते गिरिम श्री गुरुम दीनतारिणम श्री चैतन्य ईश्वरम
Today I have a few verses of the CC.
Today we will have some question and answers.
Some verses from Chaitanya Lila.
Some verses from Chaitanya Leela.
And then question and answer.
And then question and answers.
So, in Mayapur, we're celebrating the 50th anniversary.
So in Mayapur, we are celebrating the 50th anniversary
of the inauguration of Lord Radha Madhava.
of the inauguration of Lord Radha Madhava
And Mayapur Chandra.
and Mayapur Chandra.
Today, celebrating the 100th year of Prabhupada meeting Bhakti Saraswati Thakur.
Also, today we are celebrating the 100 years of Srila Prabhupada meeting Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. The Māyāvāda philosophy considers the Lord to be transformations of the material mode of goodness and equates the Jiva Tattva with the Supreme Brahman. Under the sections, how all the residents of Varanasi became Vaishnavas. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela 7.113.
তত্ত্ববস্তুকে নিরাকার এবং বিষ্ণু দেহাদিগকে মায়িক বিকার বলাই মায়াবাদ। চিদানন্দ দেহ তার স্থান পরিবার, তারে কহে প্রাকৃত সত্যের বিকার।
The Supreme Personality of Godhead is full of spiritual potencies. Therefore, his body, name, fame, and entourage are all spiritual. The Mayavadi philosopher, due to ignorance, says that these are all merely transformations of the material mode of goodness. Purport. In the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, the Supreme Personality of Godhead has classified his energies in two distinct divisions, namely Prakrita and Aprakrita, or Para Prakriti or Apara Prakriti. In the Vishnu Purana, the same distinction is made. The Mayavadi philosophers cannot understand these two Prakritis or natures, material and spiritual, but one is actually intelligent, can understand them. Considering the many varieties and activities in material nature, why should the Mayavadi philosophers deny the spiritual varieties of the spiritual world? The Bhagavatam 10.2.32 says, the intelligence of those who think themselves liberated but have no information of the spiritual world is not yet clear. In this verse, the term Avishuddha Buddhaya refers to unclean intelligence. Due to unclean intelligence of a poor fund of knowledge, the Mayavadi philosophers cannot understand the distinction between material and spiritual varieties. Therefore, they cannot even think of spiritual varieties because they take it for granted that all variety is material. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore explains in this verse that Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead or the Absolute Truth, has a spiritual body that is distinct from material bodies, and thus his name, abode, entourage, and qualities are all spiritual. The material mode of goodness has nothing to do with spiritual varieties. Mayavadi philosophers, however, cannot clearly understand spiritual varieties. Therefore, they imagine a negation of the material world to be the spiritual world. The material qualities of goodness, passion, and ignorance cannot act in the spiritual world, which is therefore called nirguna, as clearly indicated in the Bhagavad Gita. Traigunya Vishaya Veda Nistraigunyo Bhavarujana. The material world is a manifestation of the three modes of material nature, but one has to become free from these modes to come to the spiritual world, where their influence is completely absent. Now, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will disassociate Lord Shiva from Mayavada philosophy in the following verse.
So the Māyāvāda authors not understand the spiritual variety in the spiritual world.
So, the Mayavadi philosophers do not understand the spiritual variety in the spiritual world.
They say that the personality of Krishna and his various pastimes qualities all transformation of more goodness.
So, they say that the varieties of Lord Krishna's qualities and his pastimes are all transformation of the mode of goodness.
And that's why they're bewildered.
In this way, they are bewildered.
And to convince them is not easy.
And to convince them is not easy.
Lord Chaitanya is doing that. We can see how he is doing it systematically.
But we can see that Lord Chaitanya is doing that, and we can see that how he is doing it systematically. Next verse. Yeah, next verse. Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela 7.114.
আদেশ পালক শঙ্করের দোষ না থাকিলেও তদ্ভাষ্য শ্রবণে জীবের সর্বনাশ। তার দোষ নাহি তেহ আজ্ঞাকারী দাস, আর যেই শুনে তার হয় সর্বনাশ।
Translation. Shankaracharya, who is an incarnation of Lord Shiva, is faultless because he is a servant carrying out the orders of the Lord. But those who follow his Mayavadi philosophy are doomed. They will lose all their advancement in spiritual knowledge. Purport. Mayavadi philosophers are very proud of exhibiting their Vedanta knowledge through grammatical jugglery. But in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Sri Krishna certifies that they are Mayaya Paratra Jnana, bereft of real knowledge due to Maya. Maya has two potencies with which to execute her two functions. the Prekshapatmika Shakti, the power to throw the living entity into the ocean of material existence, and Avarantikamika Shakti, the power to cover the knowledge of the living entity. The function of the Avarantmika Shakti, Avaranatmika Shakti, is explained in the Bhagavad Gita by the word Maya Paratra Jnana. Why the Daivi Maya or illusory energy of Krishna takes away the knowledge of the Mayavadi philosophers is also explained in the Bhagavad Gita by the use of the words Asuram Bhavam Ashritah, which refer to a person who does not agree to the existence of the Lord. The Mayavadis who are not in agreement with the existence of the Lord can be classified in two groups, exemplified by the impersonalist Shankarites of Varanasi and the Buddhists of Saranatha. Both groups are Mayavadis, and Krishna takes away their knowledge due to their atheistic philosophies. Neither group agrees to accept the existence of a personal God. The Buddhist philosophers clearly deny both the soul and God. And although the Shankarites do not openly deny God, they say that the absolute is Nirakara or formless. Thus, both the Buddhists and the Shankarites are Avishuddha Buddhaya or imperfect and unclean in their knowledge and intelligence. The most prominent Mayavadi scholar, Sadananda Yogendra, has written a book called Vedanta Sara, in which he expounds the philosophy of Shankaracharya, and all the followers of Shankara's philosophy attribute great importance to his statements. In his Vedanta Sara, Sadananda Yogendra defines Brahman as Satchid Ananda combined with knowledge and without duality. And he defines ignorance Jada, as knowledge distinct from that of Sat and Asat. This is almost inconceivable, but it is a product of the three material qualities. Thus, he considers anything other than pure knowledge to be material. The center of ignorance is considered to be sometimes all pervading and sometimes individual. Thus, according to his opinion, both the all pervading Vishnu and the individual living entities are products of ignorance. In simple language, it is the opinion of Sadananda Yogendra that since everything is Nirakara, formless, the concept of Vishnu and the conception of the individual soul are both products of ignorance. He also explains that Vishuddha Sattva, conception of the Vaishnavas, is nothing but Paradhana, or the chief principle of creation. He maintains that when all the pervading knowledge is contaminated by the Vishuddha Sattva, which consists of a transformation of the quality of goodness, there arises the conception of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the omnipotent, omniscient, supreme ruler, the super soul, the cause of all causes, the supreme Ishvara, etc. According to Sadananda Yogendra, because Ishvara, the supreme Lord, is the reservoir of all ignorance, he may be called Sarvagna or omniscient. But one who denies the existence of the omnipotent supreme personality of Godhead is more than Ishvara or the Lord. His conclusion, therefore, is that the supreme personality of Godhead, Ishvara, is a transformation of material ignorance, and that the living entity, Jiva, is covered by ignorance. Thus, he describes both collective and the individual existence in darkness. According to the Mayavadi philosophers, the Vaishnava conception of the Lord as the supreme personality of Godhead and of the jiva or individual soul as his eternal servant is a manifestation of ignorance. If we accept the judgment of Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, however, the Mayavadis are to be considered Maya Pahrita Jnana, or bereft of all knowledge, because they do not recognize the existence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or they claim that his existence is a product of material conception, Maya. These are the characteristics of asuras or demons. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in his discourses with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, said, Vyasadeva composed the Vedanta Sutra to deliver the conditioned souls from this material world. But Shankaracharya, by presenting the Vedanta Sutra in his own way, has clearly done a great disservice to human society. For one who follows his Māyāvāda philosophy is doomed. In the Vedanta Sutra, devotional service is clearly indicated. But the Mayavadi philosophers refuse to accept the spiritual body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and refuse to accept that the living entity has an individual existence separate from that of the Supreme Lord. Thus, they have created atheistic havoc all over the world. For such a conclusion is against the very nature of the transcendental process of pure devotional service. The Mayavadi philosophers unreasonable ambition to unrealizable ambition to become one with the Supreme through denying the existence of the personality of Godhead results in a most calamitous misrepresentation of spiritual knowledge. And one who follows this philosophy is doomed to remain perpetually in this material world. Therefore, the Mayavadis are called Avishuddha Buddhaya, or unclean in knowledge. Because they are unclean in knowledge, all their austerities and penances end in frustration. Thus, although they may be honored at first as very learned scholars, ultimately they descend to physical activities of politics, social work, etc. Instead of becoming one with the Supreme Lord, they again become one with these material activities. This is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam 10.2.32. In actuality, the Mayavadi philosophers very strictly follow the austerities and penances of spiritual life, and in this way are elevated to the impersonal Brahman platform. But due to their negligence of the lotus feet of the Lord, they again fall down to material existence.
So that verse explains how the Mayavadi sannyasis, those fall down their position.
So this verse explains that how the Mayavadi sannyasis fall down.
So they say that the Mayavadi philosophers are sent by Krishna and multi-parasites.
In actuality, we see that the Mayavadi sannyasis offend Lord Krishna in multiple ways. They say that he has no form and that he is in the mode of goodness. Their knowledge is stolen by Maya. Maya aparita jnana. Their knowledge is stolen by Maya.
So, not to listen to the Mayavadi.
One should be very careful and should not listen to the Mayavadi philosophy,
It's known as one's spiritual progress.
as this will doom one's spiritual progress. Okay, next verse.
Question and answer.
Okay, let's have some question and answers.
Two questions.
Two questions.
Hot water. No.
Okay. Dear most Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble. Yeah. Dear most Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances unto your lotus feet. My question is in Bhagavad Gita 18.44. It is said that Kshatriya's work is to fight, Vaishya's work is to do business and farming, and for Shudra, there is labor work. So, is this statement for men and women both? Your unworthy, insignificant daughter.
The Varnashram system mainly for the men.
The Varnashrama system is mainly for the men,
And the ladies generally serve the husband.
and the ladies, they generally serve their husband.
Now what a lady has taken birth in, what a lady has taken birth in one family,
When a lady has taken birth in the family,
and then to some extent the caste of the family is considered.
to some extent, the caste of the family is considered.
At the same time, Lord Krishna said that ladies, Vaishnavas, Sudras, and all reach the supreme destination.
At the same time, Lord Krishna said the ladies, the Vaishyas, and the Shudras can all reach the supreme.
Something of that surrender to Krishna. simply if they surrender unto
Simply if they surrender unto Lord Krishna.
Next. Last list.
Okay. Does holy month of Purushottam Mass multiply any activity by 1,000 times? Kindly guide how to understand this and apply this better into our lives. Your servants and spiritual daughters, Geeteshwari Vishnu Priya Devi Dasi, Kairava Chandrika Devi Dasi, New Delhi, India.
the Purushottam month comes every 3 years.
The Purushottama month comes every 3 years.
Krishna had declared that he is adopting the Purushottam month.
And Krishna had declared that he is
Adopting.
adopting the Purushottam month.
Therefore,
Therefore, it
it has
has his name,
Purushottam.
Purushottam.
So, normally, month of Vaisakh.
On the month of
Vaisakh.
Vaisak,
Vaisakh.
Vaishak
Or Damodar.
or Damodar,
Kartik.
Kartik,
One gets 100 times activities.
one gets 100 times the benefit of different activities.
So, Purushottam month one get 1,000 times.
So when the Purushottam month comes, one can get 1,000 times the benefit.
And this is God's month.
This is because this month is very dear to Krishna.
Thank you.
Guru Maharaj is blessing everybody through gallery darshan. Thank you all for joining.
Sri Vatsa will do the announcement.
Please pray for the well-being of the devotees in Ukraine and Russia.
Dear devotees, Guru Maharaj welcomes you on his virtual table with thanks. The GMT cost for today as follows. And this is conversation. And devotees, we are becoming happy by distributing your books. Prabhupada, thank you. It is Krishna's book. Tripurari, just by distributing your books, we can become self-realized. Prabhupada, you are already self-realized. Otherwise, how can you push on the books? You love Krishna. Therefore, you are taking so much labor for pushing on. And that is self-realization. If anyone tries to establish that Krishna is the Supreme Lord, that is self-realization. Tripurari. Sometimes the devotees ask if they can take birth again distributing books for you. Prabhupada, very good. That is real devotion. Devotees do not want to go to Vaikuntha or get any liberation. They are satisfied with service. That is pure devotion. And distributing books for the benefit of going to Krishna, that is selflessness. But if one thinks, I simply want to distribute the books without any remuneration, That is a pure devotee. Jai Srila Prabhupada. And today the following devotees, GMVT members have helped Guru Maharaj in the book distribution. Dhruva Jyotirmai from Bangladesh, 1 Gita. And Prahlad Krishna Das from Kasadesh, 1 Gita. Balachandra, Channa, Vinita Gandharvika, Devidasi and Balavranda, 4 small books. Udaranga Devidasi from Sweden, 108 small books. Nitya Madhavi Devidasi from Mayapur, 5 Gitas. Jalashreya Radhika Devidasi from Mayapur, 73 small books and 1 Gita. Ravi Lochana Gauranga Das from Bangalore, 10,000 rupees for Guru Maharaj Seva. And Madhubalini for Guru Maharaj Seva from Bangalore, 19,708 from our first salary. And from Abhay Charan Nitai, GMVT online distributes name Moni Chakravarti plus Shankar Chakravarti, 2 Gitas. And Jyotirmay Roy Dinazpur donated through 2 Gitas, 1 small book. Bangladesh. Damayanti Sudaksha Devi Mataji and Sonali, 1 Gita, 2 small books from Bangladesh. Shambhari Charan, Mednipur, 3 Gitas. And Urmi Paul and Suman Devnath from Dhaka, 3 Gitas. Vijay Benadari from Kerala, 24 Gitas. Nandakumar Govinda Prabhu, Ali Pudwar, 11 Gitas and 6 small books. Jayananda Gaura Haridas from Chennai, 2 Gitas. Subhananda Mukunda Das from KKD, 50 small books. Ranchor Prabhu, Bangalore, 23 Gitas. Raghunath Chaitanya Das, Andhra Pradesh, 1 Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita set and 23 small books. Radhakanta Gopal from Tamil Nadu, 5 Gitas. Shankafani Narsimha Das from Mumbai, 25 small books. Srihari Goyal from 36 Gar and 6 Gitas and 12 small books. Shyamala Chandrashil from Bangladesh, 1 Gita. Sri Rupa Madhavi from Chennai, 12 Gitas. From 1st to 10th March, everybody's Sarva Vigna Vinashaka Puja, Tulasi Archana and Deep Dana for Guru Maharaj, Janivat Prabhu. All other devotees are sponsored by Haripriya Ganga Mataji from Kasadesh. These devotees helped and Guru Maharaj distributing 108 Maha Big books and 511 small books, and in total 699 transcendental books of Srila Prabhupada today. Srila Prabhupada Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai! These devotees get a special Narasimha Puja and few words from Navin Sridham Mayapur. All of you devotees also bless them by calling out loudly after me. Nitai Gauranga! Please pass on this wonderful opportunity of participating in the pastime of Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada. Recommend them, even if it is a single Bhagavad Gita or just a few small books, please do WhatsApp. Virtual table at any time +919434760402 +919434760403. And we need a prayers for the corona. Please stay safe and stay tuned for tomorrow's Lord Chaitanya class. Thank you for your daily prayers with us. Please join us in offering our deep prayers continuously from Mayapur for His Holiness Jai Pataka Swami Guru Maharaj's health recovery to full extent swiftly. All devotees in Ukraine, as you know, are disturbed and need to protect devotees in Russia from unnecessarily being pushed into war. So we also pray, if it is pleasing Lord Sri Krishna, to kindly protect these devotees in Ukraine and Russia and devotees all over the world who are affected by corona and its Omicron variant. And of course, our prayers includes for all those who have celebrated their anniversaries today for their well-being and blissful Krishna consciousness. Let's pray together. Please chant along with me. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki. Vancha kalpaturbyasya kripa sindubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnava